I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, this is Shabai from the GMS Colorado. And through the Spirit, I'm going to go in on Revelation 11, okay? We'll start at the top, like always. It says, "And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of the Most High, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out. Measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread foot 42 months. And it says, And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clothed in sackcloth." All right, so what these 2 witnesses are, because you got these Christians, I've seen them do this breakdown, and they just butcher it. They don't understand it. They think it's actually two different prophets, 2 witnesses. You know what I'm saying? 2 prophets. But what it's actually talking about is the northern and southern kingdom of Israel. All right, you have the northern kingdom Israelites who are 1 witness, and then you have the southern kingdom Israelites who are another witness, right? And basically, Judah, Benjamin, Levi represent that southern kingdom, and then you have from the northern kingdom, you have Ephraim down to Issachar, who represents the northern kingdom Israelites. All right, those are the 2 witnesses that are prophesying in sackcloth, and that's what you're witnessing. When you see the men who are standing on our feet, who are prophesying in the street corners. I was gonna grab a precept and I got distracted here. Salakia. Which one was it? Okay, yeah. So yeah, the sackcloth is a custom of Israel. We would wear sackcloth during a time of mourning. So like when someone would pass away, or you had a time of mourning. You would dress in sackcloth, and you would put dust on your head, right, as a sign of mourning. But that's that sackcloth represents, and that's why mourning, as in you're crying out. You're in a mournful spirit. You're not happy. You're mourning, right? Like in Ecclesiastes, it tells you it's better to go to a house of mourning. Let me grab this precept though, because that's the prophets, those 2 witnesses. They're on the street corners, and what are we doing? We're sighing and crying, aka mourning. Okay. It says in Ezekiel 9:4, "And Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof." So that's what you have, those 2 witnesses, the northern and southern kingdom prophets that you have on the street corners in Babylon right now and all over the world, but the majority of the prophets are in Babylon, America. All right. So that mark that's set upon our forehead is that Tawah, which is a mark. It's a righteous mark. It's a mark of exemption, right? Because you're gonna have these heathen and these 2/3. They're gonna have that wicked device that's going to mark them. You know, the MOTB, which is in Revelation 13th chapter. You're going to have people with that mark, and then you're going to have the elect, starting out with the prophets, starting out the men who are sighing and crying or mourning, right? Because we're mourning at the state of our people. We're mourning at the state of, where we're at, because we know we have our eyes on the prize. We're thinking about the future, right? We're thinking about the kingdom. We're coming into a ruling class mentality, which right now, if you know you're going to be ruling, why would you not be sighing and crying right now in this time, when you know you're going to have something bigger and better waiting for you? So that's how, the right mindset for the true prophets of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. We're this is not a time of mirth, or a time of happiness, or a time of, it's not our rest, as it tells you in was it Micah 2:10, right? So let me see if I can find this. Well, I'll read this one too. Ecclesiastes 1:18. It says, "For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow." So the wisest spirits on the earth are the prophets, right? Because we have this wisdom that's given to us, and that's, if the Spirit's dealing with you, you have wisdom, which is given from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And so when you have that wisdom, you understand what it is, and that's going to cause you to go into that state of mourning, that state of sorrow, like we just read. You increase in knowledge in this thing of ours, you increase in sorrow, all right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. People will look at it like, oh, these guys are depressed, or these guys are just negative. No, when you know the truth, why the hell would you prefer to be a slave under your enemy, a slave under your oppressor, when you know what we're heading into? What's right around the corner is our rulership, is our blessing, our true blessing. A time when we're gonna actually get to live. Okay. So let me see. I'm trying to find a specific verse here. Let me see. I might need to grab my other phone to look it up real quick. You know what? I got my Bible right here. I'll probably be able to find it just by looking at the Bible. Bear with me. Alright, let's see. Bear with me. I'm looking for this verse because, we're in a state of mourning. We're not in a state of, rest or happiness, or, we're like, we just want this, our slavery to continue, We want to stay under the oppression of the enemy. No, that's not the right mindset, you see. It doesn't mean we're depressed. It just means we're wise to know that we have better things coming, according to the prophecies. All right? Let me see. I'll get this other one too that let's see. We can go with this one. This isn't the one I'm looking for, but I'm still gonna find it, I guess. Let's see here. I'll just get this one real quick. Ecclesiastes 3:4, it says, because it says there's a time for everything, right? And this says, Ecclesiastes 3:4, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. All right, so right now we're in a time to mourn. If you have wisdom, this is a time to mourn, right? That's why we're on the street corners sighing and crying. We're complaining daily, right, to our Heavenly Father. And we're praying for deliverance.
Your life's journey begins here in South Dakota, the nation's most affordable state for a college degree.
That's Satan just popping up out of nowhere. Dumbass commercial. So anyway, we're in a time of mourning. This is not a time of, rejoicing and laughter and mirth. No, we want to, we're one of the things the elder apostle and really all the all apostles speak on. But I was thinking about elder apostle Gabar. He says it a lot. When you come into this knowledge, when you come into this truth, you're going to suffer. You got to learn to deal with suffering. Remember, we swallow the book, and it's sweet in our mouth and it's bitter in our stomach. It tells you that in Revelation 10, and I think it's also in Ezekiel, if I'm not mistaken. But it tells you that you're gonna swallow the book, which will be sweet in your mouth and bitter in thy belly. Because once you digest this truth, right? Once you digest this understanding, then you realize, like, oh shit, I'm a fucking slave here. I'm serving my enemy. I'm working every day just to fatten up, the oppressor's pockets, And, you got your daily bread, but this place, it's like it's just like a hamster wheel, I notice it too. I'll be I'll be driving to work, and I'll see people walking. You see the same people walk. It's like you go to work on a Monday, you see the same motherfuckers walking to work. And you take a lunch, you see the same motherfuckers who are walking, to wherever they're walking, right? It's like a constant hamster wheel. Everybody's moving in circles and going nowhere, right? And that's how this place is, man. You work to survive, but at the end of the day, this is not a happy place, man. Even for people who so-called have all their shit together and have, money, some of those people are the most miserable people. Like you see, the scripture speaks about in the curses that we can't even enjoy our kids, and that's true. Your kids, they're being indoctrinated while you're at slavery. Your kids are busy in slavery being indoctrinated by the school system, and then nowadays it's a really wicked ass system, a wicked place, because I have my youngest, right? She's gonna be 12, and she's got about, I think, 7 teachers, and I think like 4 of them are homos, one's a transgender, and that's the world we're in right now, man. So this is a fucked up place. This place is it's wicked, man. You see, everything is coming to the light because of the internet and because the prophets on the scene, the 2 witnesses that we're reading about here. We're here to, reveal the wickedness of this place. And the more you learn, the more you're in wisdom, the more you look around and all you see is wickedness, You see the women are all fucking whores. The men are adulterous, reckless, savages, They don't have nobody, the majority of the people, none of them have a reverence for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So you have men that are working with your wife that are ready to fucking commit adultery with her the first chance they get, you know. And then you got weak women, because the Bible speaks about the woman being a weaker vessel, who are they think they're men. They have mentality of men in this society. So this place is all fucked up, man. And that's why we're sighing and crying, you know, because our women used to be tender and delicate, the scriptures say, you know. And I gotta grab this phone, because I got all these precepts coming to my head and I don't know them off the top. Sometimes you'll get a precept right off the top, and other times you gotta look it up, you know. So let's see. But you know, this place, if you're not sighing and crying, then it means you're part of the problem. If you're not sighing and crying, and if you're not mourning, and you're just okay with the state of this place, then you're that wicked Israelite, or you're that wicked heathen person who's going to be fuel for the fire when nuclear war, you know, when Yahweh Bashem Yahushua visit the earth by way of those missiles. Let me see. Yeah, this fucking phone sucks. Salakia. This other phone is so slow. But you know, this place you can't even enjoy your kids. The women are loose. The women are, you know, promiscuous. You got there's all kind of wickedness going on in Babylon, man. And you're supposed to be bothered by that stuff, man. You're not supposed to just be a part of it or blend in, you know. You're supposed to, like Lot, it talks about Lot, how he was vexed by the conversation of the wicked. That's how you should be as a you know, sincere man in this truth. This fucking place should vex you. The conversations of the wicked should vex you. It should bother you. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't make you. You shouldn't be just joining in filthy conversation or vain babblings with these people. You're supposed to be annoyed by your surroundings, you know? Because that's why it calls us holy, because at the end of the day, we're not of this place, man. You know? We're not supposed to just blend in to fit in, you know? Let me see, I'm trying to find a couple precepts here. This other phone, I was going to look it up, but they're just fuck up. Like, here's a good one. This is one I was looking for. Hosea 4:14, it says, I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery. For themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that doth not understand shall fall. Right. And those are those people that lack wisdom. Right? Because they're part of the problem. You got the men, they're willing to commit adultery with no remorse, no guilt, you know, impulsive. If they get a chance to take your wife, you know, that's how the society's set up. You know, your woman has to go to work. And in me, I'm single. I'm just speaking on what I've seen and you know, what happens in this place. You got women, the social media has them built up with a false sense of security, because you got all these simps hitting them up on the social media. So if they have a husband or a man, you know what I'm saying, they end up, you know, they're the weaker vessel. You get a little spat with your spouse, and then next thing you know, Joe Blow at the fucking workforce be trying to smash your girl, you know? And if she's, you know, women are like our elder apostle, he calls them opportunistic creatures. So if the occasion is right, hey, these women are weak, and they may not have intentions, but they're so weak that they'll commit adultery just because on the behalf of their weakness and wickedness. And then you go to the curses. Let's go to there real quick. Deuteronomy 28, and it's towards the middle of this. Let me see if I can find it. But you can't even enjoy your kids here in this place, Here it is right here. Deuteronomy 28 and 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. I have daughters, and daughters. You have daughters that are older. They go to work. They may have an opposite schedule of you. You never get to really see your kids. You're in the rat race. You're in the hamster wheel. Everyone's got to, go hit the plantation. Then you get off the plantation, and people are like, they have a little bit of free time, and in that free time, so at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to chill. You can't even enjoy each other. Like right now, my daughter, one of my oldest, she moved to Phoenix, right? I can't enjoy her. She's out in Phoenix, and we get on the phone daily, But when we're talking, most of the time we're both at the job, at the plantation. And when she was here, in the same city as me over here in Denver, you still didn't really have time to sit there and enjoy your children. Because why? Because what we just read, for they shall go into captivity. When you have kids, you're just begatting slaves under Esau's system. So this place is not our rest, let's grab that. And that's why the prophets are sighing and crying. The ones who are in the right mentality, we're sighing and crying. We're fucking ready for our kingdom. We're ready for our dominion. We're ready for our rest. You see? Micah 2 and 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. You see? The Bible tells you, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, hey, this is not your rest. So, if you're in the mentality where you think you're going to build an empire, or you're going to start a franchise, or you're going to do some big here on this side, just know that this place is not your rest. You just had in the news today, they've already been, putting that shaming ritual on P. Diddy. And now in the news today, it looks like, what's his name, Jay-Z, he's about to go down now. They got charges on him saying he's tied in connection with raping a 13-year-old 2 decades ago, so 20 years ago. And that's how this place, these Edomites, that's that you sign that soul contract with the Amalek, with the so-called fake, the fake Jews that own the entertainment industry. That's like a temporary crown. That's temporary happiness, right? Or so-called happiness. Because Jay-Z, yeah, I think he's a billionaire, but now he's gonna go. He looks like he's going in the same direction as P. Diddy. They're gonna shame him, and it's a ritual. These fucking Amalekites, they got these shaming rituals that they do to Jake. And when it's your time to be shamed, hey, that's what they do to you, man. They done it to R. Kelly. They done it to Bill Cosby. They done it to P. Diddy's in the midst of it. All these men who had all this fame and fortune. You know what I'm saying? They signed that so-called that soul contract, and now they're facing ridicule, embarrassment. People mock them all the time. Those dudes are open game now. Now you look on the internet, and then you got the internet. People just come on now. People are clowning P Diddy right now. Who would want to be in P Diddy's shoes right now? You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it's because of what we just read in Micah 2:10. This place is not our rest, man. You know? Go back to Revelation 11. But those two witnesses, that's that northern and southern kingdom, and were clothed in sackcloth. We're in a time of mourning. When you wear sackcloth in the ancient times, that was our custom. When we were mourning, we would put on sackcloth, right? We don't put on fancy garments like these dudes that do their Million Man March all in purple and yellow, you know, under Bishop Nathaniel. You know, he goes off a lot in the scriptures. So let's keep reading. Revelation 11:4, it says, "These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the Most High of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must be killed he must in this manner be killed." Yeah, and that's how this truth is a devouring these people. And that's that fire, the understanding, us talking, exposing the truth. You can't expose the truth, but exposing the lies, I should say. You know, that's what the Lord gave us the Spirit to do. And this is fire coming out of our mouth, you know. It says, "These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood." Did not Moses do that? And then did not Elijah, he had those kind of powers, you know. Even the prophets today, we have those powers. We're coming into spiritual powers where we'll be able to do some, heavy things, some miracles, things that are not easily explained. We're going to be doing things like that, brothers. You know? Let me read it again. "These have the power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will." You see? The Lord has given his prophets, first of all, it starts out with this understanding. And having this understanding is a spiritual power in its own. You know? You have power to, as a true prophet of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, brothers, we have powers to remove demons, remove spirits off people. Wicked demons, wicked spirits. We're going to have powers to, bring people back from that have passed on. Those are the type of things that we're coming into. Because why? Because it's written. These things have happened in the past. And it tells you in Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. We're going to be doing the same things, brothers. We have this gift of prophecy. It's going to be rewarded. You're going to have the ability to do things that are unexplainable. All right? That's what, mysterious things, You bring somebody back from the dead, back to life. That's a mysterious thing. It's meaning not easily explained. And the scriptures speaks about these type of things. We're going to have these things. You got the naysayers, the doubters, the people that have not the faith that we have. And they at about this part of the video, they'll turn it off because they don't believe, they don't have the faith, the wisdom, or the understanding to believe what I'm saying right now. You see? Verse 7. "And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them." Right, so talking about that the beast that comes from that bottomless pit, which the bottomless pit represents Europe, which Europeans are these Edomites, right? So let's read verse 10 or 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So that's this place where we're here in Babylon. This is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, right? Because it's legal to be a sodomite here in this country. You know, and spiritually Egypt, we know Egypt is a Greek word for bondage. That's what Egypt means. So I've been talking about it in this video, in this lesson, where we got to go to captivity. We're in captivity. We got to go to work. We're in that hamster wheel. We're grinding for the enemy. We're building up the enemy's pockets daily, right? That's bondage. You know, just because you don't have a yoke of iron around your neck and fetters of iron around your ankles, around your, your feet, it doesn't mean you're not a slave. You know, you're a slave. You're definitely a slave. Even the heathen are slaves here. You see? So let's read 9. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And see, and that's a violation. Because, like, whenever somebody was, like hung from a tree, or you're not put in a grave, your dead body's on the ground. It also goes into the law, because there's laws for everything, and there's an appointed time where you're supposed to be buried. When someone dies, you're not supposed to just leave the carcass out. You know what I'm saying? It's actually a violation of the laws of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Verse 10, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. Right, so they seek our lives because we're tormenting them. You know, we're out there on the streets prophesying. We had a Amalekite yesterday come to the camp, and he was trying to be crafty. He's that subtle serpent, right? That was in the garden. He's still here today. But we had Amalek. He was out there at the camp yesterday, trying to ask questions and whatnot. And at the end of the day, they go home because they can't deal with this when it comes to these scriptures. So at the end of the day, they go home and lay their bed. When they go to lay their head down at night, they become tormented. They'll start playing it back in their head like, oh shit, these motherfuckers, these two prophets, man, I didn't have nothing for them. You know, he couldn't even, the way the Lord set it up, this Amalekite, like he believes, or maybe he, starting to doubt, but he's been taught his whole life that he's a so-called Jew, right? But the power that we have is so strong out there that this man, he couldn't even come out and say that he was Jewish. Because in the spirit, we're like lions. It was like a lion. It was like, was 6 of us out there yesterday? It was like 6 lions ready to pounce on a little lamb, right? Because he was trying to be crafty at first. He was listening. He was being patient. He was asking questions. He was like, "Are you the black?" This is what he said. He goes, "Are you guys the black Hebrew Israelites?" And we started to explain to him, there's no such thing as a black person, right? Now, he brought that up, and then when we got to his part, we started going in on, I don't remember exactly what was said, but I think we were talking about the white Jesus, right? And then all of a sudden he's like, well, why don't we just throw color out the window? And it's like, you're the one who brought color up, homie. You're the one who asked us if we're the black Hebrew Israelites, but then when you start to tell them and go in on the truth, but then at the point is he had nothing for us because we were using scriptures to back up what we were saying. Because remember, brothers, there's no weakness in truth. All right, it's the strongest thing on the planet Earth. I think it's in the book of Ezra when they had the contest, you know, with the wise men, and they all had to pick what they thought was the strongest, the most powerful thing on the earth, you know. And if your brothers know what I'm talking about, you know, those wise men, they came up with three different things, right? They said, one guy said wine is the strongest thing on the earth. He gave his reasoning on it. Another one said a woman is the strongest thing on the earth. Another one said a king is the strongest thing on the earth. And then the last person, he said truth is the strongest thing on the earth. Why? Because truth, there's no weakness in truth, brothers. If you telling the truth, you have no weakness. And this is our power. We have no weakness. Why? Because we have nothing but truth coming out of our mouth. Right? Let's grab 14 and 3 and 4 maybe. Yeah, I'll start at 3. Revelation 14 and 3. And it's talking about those two witnesses that we're reading about in Revelation 11. The northern and southern kingdom prophets of Israel, the men who are on the street corners, you know, witnessing, testifying the truth. Right? Revelation 14 and 3, it says, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. And the women is talking about doctrines. It's a metaphor. All right? Because we're virgins. We're pure because we're here dwelling with our first love, our first wife, which is this truth, right? We didn't take on all the other doctrines that were offered to us or that we were exposed to in Babylon, America. See, so it says, for they are virgins, meaning we're pure. And what makes us pure, this truth does. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth, which is Yahweh Shai. Our spirits are always connected with Yahweh Shai in every captivity, in every lifetime, you know, our daily lives. We have the same spirit as our big brother, Yahweh Shai. It says, these were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb, and in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of the Most High. So what does it say? It says that in our mouth there's only fire coming out of our mouth, because the truth is fire devouring your enemies, tormenting your enemy, right? So just think about that fake Jew that had to go home. And like I said, he couldn't even come out and say who he was, who you know, he thinks he's a Jew. But now that the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is on the street corners, we're like lions on the street corners, right? That's the spirit of Yahweh. What was it? That's what they call him, the Lion of Judah. And that's how we are. We're like, you know, when you have the truth, you can be bold like a lion. You see? And this dude, he was told his whole life, and he was older than all of us, right? He had to be in his 60s or 70s. And his whole life he was told he was a Jew, but here we are on the street corners telling him that he's not the Jew to his face. And he just got to sit there and take it. He couldn't even come out and say what he was because the spirit is not with them. You see? And then what does it say here? Let me read it again. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of the Most High. And guile means trickery or deception. When you have truth, you don't have to deceive people. You don't have to trick people. The truth is hey, it's black and white, all right? There's no gray areas with truth. See? So it's definitely it's a spiritual power in itself. Even right now we have spiritual powers. So think about the spiritual powers that we're going to come into like in the times of Jacob Trouble, which is, we're pretty much at the birth pains of Jacob Trouble. This shit's about to get crazy here, and you can feel the spirit, man. The spirit of these people is so fucked up. This place is on its last leg, man, and we're happy about that. But guess what? We're mourning right now because we have wisdom. We know this is not our rest. We're mourning because we know this fucking place is. This is not what life is, brothers. We're not set up to go to work the majority of the day every day and then have a little bit of time to wind down, take a shower, eat something, and then just do it all over again every fucking week. That's not what life is, man. You have to remember, the scriptures tells us that we're kings and gods. You think does a king work every day? Does a god go punch in and clock in? Hell no. That's not who we are. We're not slaves in the spirit. We're slaves in the flesh. And this is our punishment because we've went off, But now the Lord is having mercy on us, and he's bringing us back into remembrance of who we are. This is the whole story of the scriptures. And we're literally living the Bible out. Everybody in the history of history, including the present, is in biblical times. The whole idea of mankind is biblical time. You got idiots who say, "Oh, that was back in the biblical times." They were not in the biblical. No, motherfucker. As long as the prophecies have not all been fulfilled, that means you're still in biblical times. That's why when you turn on the news, they say, "Oh, well, these plagues or these different, woes and plagues that are coming to the earth." They say it reminds you of biblical times or biblical prophecies. Every now and then the news will say stuff like that. And why is that? It's because we're still in biblical times, people. You need to understand that. There's still prophets on the earth. There's still plagues that are going to come to Babylon, America. We read about it. Spiritual Sodom and Egypt. What do you think this is a fairy tale? That spiritually Sodom and Egypt, that place is not America, and that's already been passed through? No, we're living in that time right now. We're living in the time of spiritual Sodom and Egypt. All right. What was I gonna grab? I was gonna grab something. It had came to mind. It slipped my mind, but it'll come back to the spirit, Lord willing. But anyway, let me keep reading. It says, "And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in the grave." Oh, I read this already. So, "And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth." And that's what we were doing yesterday when that fake Jew came up to the camp. Guess what? He, by the Spirit, meaning by reading the Bible out loud and explaining it to him, he was being tormented. Think about that. You've been, like I said, this dude was 60 or 70 years old. You've been your whole life told that you were Jewish. And you got so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, bold like lions, exposing your fake facade, your fake story, your fake heritage to your face. That would torment a motherfucker. You know that, dude. And that's the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. There's no guile in our mouth. That's why we didn't have to lie about nothing. We didn't have to deceive anything when we were dealing with that fake Jew. We were telling him what it is. We were like, well, where's the other tribes? This prophecy says that all the tribes are going to raise up. Your guys' little facade, your little lie, there's only one tribe you guys ever talk about. And he tried to say some bullshit. Oh, well, the tribes are... Nah, motherfucker. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. He had nothing for us. Let's just put it like that. He had nothing for the prophets. But meanwhile, the prophets were like lions with fire coming out of their mouth. When that motherfucker has to go home and lay his head down on his pillow at night and think about everything he just witnessed. He's tormented, right? And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And this is the prophecy. See, we're still in biblical times because this has not happened yet. So this is what's going to happen, though. This is talking about the salvation of in this case, it's salvation of the prophets. We're going to go up in the clouds. What's the cloud? The cloud is the chariot. The cloud is the what you call a UFO. Psalm 104:3. It says, Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. Right, so the point being, the cloud is the chariot. So what are we going to go up in? When you look up chariot, it means, it's got a couple meanings. But one meaning, that word in the Hebrew is rekab. And what it means is a heavenly vehicle, aka a spaceship, a UFO. Okay? You see? And when were these fake Jews ever teaching like this? When were they breaking down the chariots? When were they breaking down the two witnesses, the northern and southern kingdom? They have a false doctrine. And they have to I'll use that word guile. They have to trick you. They have to deceive you with their doctrine. But when we speak, when we teach, there's no gimmicks, there's no trickery, there's no deception. And that's why we're redeemed, because there's no guile found in our mouth. Because we don't need to. You see? Because of this verse here. Let me grab this. This verse is what we closed out the camp yesterday. It says, and at that time, Matthew 11:25, and at that time Yahushua answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes. So Yahushua, in this verse, he's thanking the Heavenly Father Yahweh, because he was happy. It made him happy to see that that Yahweh was dealing with the babes, which are those insignificant, unlearned, so-called unlearned men, right? In the New Testament, it talks about there's a verse where it says that they had perceived, like the people, they perceived that Paul and Peter were unlearned men. I think it was Paul and Peter, right? And that's how they look at us. They look at us like they be like, oh, these black dudes, Mexican dudes, these Indian dudes, these guys don't know the fucking they're not educated, They don't believe we're the men of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? But Yahweh Shai, he was like, literally in this verse, he's thanking Yahweh. He's like, man, he's literally thanking, he's like, the Wada Yahweh. You see? Because you didn't give this knowledge, you didn't give this fire to these fucking so-called wise and prudent men. No, you gave them to the babes, meaning the insignificant men of the society. The men who are the society looks at us, perceives us as unlearned men, right? Men who don't have wisdom. That's how they look at it. They think they literally believe that. That's why our own people come on the street corner trying to challenge us. They don't do that shit to Esau. When the last time you seen our people go into a Catholic church and start challenging the Catholic priest who's over there playing with little boys' booty holes and shit? They don't do that. You see? Shoot, what was I gonna grab? I was gonna grab another precept came to mind and it left. Let me see. But that's what it is, man. Yahweh Shai was that happy when he saw the Lord was dealing with those the ones who you would think that he's not dealing with. That's who he's dealing with. It even tells you that in let's get that real quick. It tells that in Wisdom of Solomon 5. Because when the deliverance happens, when the salvation, they're gonna be fucking shocked at who's going up in the chariot. Let's start it. I might as well just start it. Talking about our salvation, talking about us going up in those clouds that we read about, right? Where it says their enemies beheld them, their enemies saw them going up. Wisdom of Solomon 5, meaning going up in those chariots, going up in what you call a UFO. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. And they, repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, shall say within themselves, this was he, whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. They're like, this motherfucker, this dude was a man of the Lord? This guy that was on the street corner wearing he had a silly garment on. You know, it wasn't very nice. They didn't even match. They didn't look the part. We didn't have a 3-piece suit on teaching the scriptures. No, we had like these garments that don't match each other, right? We look like like we're not out there color coordinating and all the brothers looking, like back in the day. You look at those, you can pull up these Mexican albums and shit, like the old school Mexican music, the entertainers, and they're all dressed the exact same and shit, and you know what I mean. So that we don't do all that. No, we're in sackcloth. We're not out there just to make a fashion statement. We're out there to endure and to preach the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai in our sackcloth, because we're in a time of mourning. We're not in a time of happiness. We're not in a time of rest. All right? But guess what? We're men, so it doesn't make us weak to the point where we're depressed, suicidal, all that bullshit, like these weak-ass people in the world. No, the men of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai are the strongest spirits on the planet Earth. It goes without saying. When the Spirit's working with you, guess what? You have the 144,000 are literally the strongest spirits on the planet Earth. Okay? That's all there is to it. But it says in verse 3, it says, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. Because they're going to see us going up in the chariot. And they're being burning up in nuclear fire or dying of starvation because of lack of bread. Right? And they're like, we fools accounted his life for madness. I mean, they think we went crazy. They think we went off the deep end. You see? It says, and his end to be without honor. So they didn't think we were going to be honorable men going up in a chariot, being saved. You know? How could this dude be it, man? He was saying cuss words while he was holding the Bible. You know, he was talking down to women. You know, he was a racist on the street corner. You know, that's how they be saying all those things about us. And it says, verse 5, how is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is among the saints? They're like, this motherfucker's a saint? How the fuck is he? I thought my mama was a saint. You see? Then it says, therefore, in verse 6, therefore we have erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness has not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. You see? So that's what it is, man. We're those babes. It's like an underdog story, but at the same time, we were never the underdog. When you have wisdom, you understand we were never the underdog. It's always been written, we were always the favorite. We were always highly favored, right? Since the beginning, when you understand the scriptures, all right? Let's see. Let's get through this chapter. You know what? I went pretty longer than I thought I was gonna go, which that's good. Spirit jumped on me. Call y'all Bashem Yoshai. So I'm gonna just read this one more time, okay? I'm gonna close it up on this 12 again. It says, "And they heard a great voice from heaven, saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them." And that's what we just read in Wisdom of Solomon, right? The voice saying, "Come up hither," that's Yahweh. And it says, we're going to go up. And it tells you in the Corinthians that we meet Yahweh Shai in the clouds. We're joined together with Yahweh Shai in the cloud, in the chariot. We read in Psalm 104:3, the cloud is the chariot, all right? And our enemies are going to observe us. They're going to see, they're going to witness this. They're going to see this phenomenon. They're going to see this mystery. They're going to see this divine intervention, this miracle. They're going to see our salvation, all right? And you know why we're getting that salvation? It's because the Lord preserved us and He chose us from the beginning to be those righteous, lawful, redeemed spirits. Okay? So with that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, one acknowledge Alakiam, who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect. Keep enduring, brothers.